Hello everyone. So in today's video we are going to discuss how to forward engineer one of our tables and then how to uh, add our data in our tables graphically into our database. So what we have here is our data. So what we have to do is add this data into the relevant databases. So this data to a class table, this data to a student table, this one to a subject table, this one to our exam table, and this one to our student exam mark record. So this is what we have to add here. So basically this is it for this uh, question. We are now going to move on to our database to add this data and explain how the forward engineering works. So here I am in our database, and now if we want to get this ER diagram, uh, the table, the values or the tables which we have created, we need to click on forward engineer and click on next, and then add in our password and then click on next, and finally we have to execute this code. I am not going to execute it because I've already completed this and forward engineered this in our previous video. So now what we are going to do is to graphically enter the data into our table. So if I go to a local instance, uh, so here it's not forward engineered, so I would have deleted the database by accident. So now if I click on OK now and we execute this, we can now go and check and see that it has been created. So now here we have it in our tables, and now we can fill our tables with the values which we have in our question. So we have here we have the class ID which will be filled in automatically. So I'm going to name this as 11A and this one as 11B. So I believe I saved this in the ER diagram as not null. Yeah. So then it should be automatically implemented. But I think if it only happens when we do it in AD. So if I click on apply, it will be, so now this has been created. So next I'm going to our student table here. So in our student table we have to add the index number, so 2 underscore 001. So here we have 8 such students, so we have to add in here 8 entries. So this is how we enter data into table manually in our MySQL format. So this is the graphical method. And then for this we have used SQL queries in our previous videos. Most of the time it's easier to use the SQL queries because we just need to copy paste the same query, and just we can take the whole data as a whole and then add it later. So we have another 4 more records after this one too, and here to this since we are asked to edit the on in a graphical format, it will take a bit more longer than usual. And adding this data graphically is much more easier in MySQL than adding it in uh, ADSQL if you compare. So uh, like you have seen before, I accidentally clicked on column in a clicked on a row which is of the next clicked on a column which is of the next row, and I was able to bring it back. But if you did it in MySQL, you will be getting more prompts, which is much more annoying to deal with. And now the final data which we are going to add to this column is student. I'm going to click on apply now, and as you can see, we have SQL language queries, SQL queries for these insert statements. So there is an error here, so they weren't able to add this. So yeah, so I think the error which we have here is the class ID, which we must change it to 1 and 2. So this will be 2, this will be 1 again, and we have 1 here again. Then this one will be 2, this one will be 2 again, this one will be 1. Now this happened because we are adding the ID and not anything else. So now, yeah, so this is done. Our student table has now been updated. Next, what we have is our subject table. So to our subject table, we are going to have 3 subjects. So the subject name, We are going to name this as mathematics. Then this one is science, and the final one is Sinhala language and literature. So I'm going to click on apply. Let's see, and now yeah, this has been added. Next, we are going to update our exam term table. So we have here our term name, first term. So we are going to set the date as 2020 03 15th of March, and the second term as 2020 0710. So I'm going to click on apply, and I'm going to apply this, and now it has been added. So finally, in our student exam mark record, now what we have to add here is basically our student's index number, and next what we have to add is their first term and second term marks. So if we go back to exam term, there is a term ID here as well. So if we go here, yeah, so now I'm going to add the marks here. So we have to go check our ER diagram again. So we have keep this as student exam mark record. Yeah, so these bars are 10, so there is no problem here. Student number 1. So we will have to make double entries for term 1 and term 2 separately. So here we don't need to enter the student's name because it's already there. So what we need to add here, since this is a normalized database, we don't need to repeat the data such as first name, the last name, and then the subject names. So here we have our first subject, which is mathematics. We have our exam term, which is 1, the first term, and then we have 50 as our mark. So I have to write 6 queries per student, so this will be around 48 queries in total. So exam term ID 2, 44.12, student 1, subject 2, term 1, and the mark is 85. Same student 1, subject 2. Here the term is 1, here is the term is 2, and then we have the marks at 95. I think it's better to write the marks as either way, doesn't matter, doesn't really matter whether we have the subject ID as 123 or 112233, as long as we enter our data correctly. So we have this as 78.6. So this is our first student's record done. So this is for their first subject. So this would be much easier with 8.76.78.5 here. Then our next student's records. So we have saved it as student 2. We are going to add this as so here we are going to use the subject ID 1, and then the exam term ID will be 1, and the marks will be 80. the same student here. Subject ID 1, term 2, and the marks 75. Subject ID 2, term 1, marks 85. Subject ID 2, marks here 95. Then subject ID 3, term 1, marks 75. Wait, I think I made a small error. So the science marks are 45 and 55. Yeah, so I need to change that to 45 and 55. Okay, so that's all right. Term 2, 85. So we have student ID number 3. So I'm going to save this down. Then now we have subject number 1, term 1, 78.24. I don't know why we were given these marks in decimals, probably to make our question much more annoying. So then subject ID 1, term 2, 45.25. Student ID 3, subject ID 2, term 1, and the mark is 23.5. Subject ID student 3, subject ID 2, term 2, and the mark is 45.52. Here it's subject ID 3, term 1, 85.5. Subject ID 3 again, term 2, 98.5. Then we have student ID number 4 here. So control C. So question number the subject 1. So here we are going to have the marks 90. Same students, same subject. Term 2. The mark is 85.88. Control B. Student number 1. The subject number 2, term 1, and the mark is 75. Student number 4. Subject number 2, term 2, 85. Student number 4. Subject number 3, term 1, mark is 100. Student number 4. Term subject 3, term 2, mark is 95. Student number 5. Subject 1, mark number is 45. 1 mark, term 2, number of marks is 65. Subject 2, term 1, mark number is 75. Subject 2, term 2, mark number is 80. Wait, think we made a small mistake here. So the mark number here is 10.5 and the mark number here is 55.5. So number 3 mark 1 55.5 and the mark here is 85.56. Question number 3 mark 2 and we are having the mark as 85. Then we are having the next student's records. Student number 6. I'm going to copy this. 4 is question number 1, just term 1, 70. Then we have 82.5 here. Copy paste this. 1, 2, copy paste, 2, 1, and the mark is 52.55. Copy paste the student ID, 2, 2, 65. Copy paste it again, 3, 1. The mark is 78.6. Copy paste, 3, 1, term 2. Mark is 80.6. Student number 7. So we'll see this. Control A, Control C. 1, 1. The mark number is 89. 1, 2. The marks here is 85. 85, okay. 2, question mark. Subject 2, ID 1. So here the mark is 35. 2, 2, and then 65. Then we have 3, 3, 1, and the mark is 85.23. 85.23. 2, so 3 here, 2, and we have 95.5. Then we are into our final students records. So we have subject 1, term 1, and the marks at 72.52. Then we have subject number 1, term 2, mark number is 78.56. Two, 1, mark is 75. 2, 2, 2, mark is 85. So this subject number is 3, 1, 99. 3, 2, and we have 85. So these are final data, and now I'm going to click on apply. Yeah, we have 48. Oh, yeah. So there is an error here. Now we have to see what that error is. So the error is duplicate entry. How many error statements do we have? How is it a duplicate entry if we have entered the... I don't get it. uh, they have mentioned everything is a duplicate entry. So they have so there was an error while applying to the this duplicate entry student 1 primary key. So here duplicate entry student 1 for the uh, uh, student 1, the primary SQL statement. So I think it's the fact that we added it twice, but yeah, according to the table formats which we were given, we had no other option on how to create this. If we were given an extra row or at least a place for an extra exam term ID, we could have done it with ease. So yeah, we would have done it. We would have been able to complete it in 8 rows with the table as follows. So basically, this is it for this video on how to add the data graphically onto the tables. Uh, and that was how we showed the process on how to forward engineer the table before in this earlier in this video was how we forward engineer our database, and this is it for this video. Thank you for watching.